Welcome back to F1 2016 Career Mode here, guys. It's the finale of Season 1, the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, and what a weekend we have in store. You can see we're in a rivalry with Nico Rosberg, but let's be honest, that's probably long gone. Development ceased on the car a long time ago, but we're battling for third in the Drivers' Championship with Kimi Raikkonen. That's one of the things. If we just get one more point than Raikkonen this weekend, just one more point, we beat him and get third in the Drivers' Championship. And I think we're just going to look to try and make sure that we definitely get fourth in the Constructors. Now, I said that this weekend at the end of Brazil, if you'd seen that, if you haven't, go back and watch it. I would recommend it. And if you're just watching this one, watch the rest of the goddamn season, man. Just seriously. This is a special one. You've probably seen it from the video title. If you didn't look at that and you just clicked on it anyway, man, it's up to you. But this is a last two question mark challenge. I would love to say last to first challenge, but I don't know, I don't see first on the cards, admittedly. But yeah, I completely skipped practice and qualifying, I'll start last. I will start last for the season finale, just to give myself that little thing of, well, if I want to beat Raikkonen, I'm going to have to earn it. So, yeah, we're just looking at the laptop at the start here, because, well, you're only going to get Grand Prix footage, really. You're only going to get the Grand Prix. It's a good one. It's a good one. I liked it. I was a fan. It's a last to first challenge. And, yeah, what a way to cap off Season 1. It's been a great season, but now I think it's time for the finale, the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix.
Darkness is descending on Abu Dhabi this evening, but there's no thought of rest for the 11 teams working feverishly on the grid. The lights are on, and we prepare to go racing one final time. We've seen some magical moments in this race since its debut in 2009. Can it put us under its spell once more? The drivers will be racing here on Yas Island today through 21 corners and a lap distance of around 3.4 miles. There are plenty of opportunities to pass, with long straights and DRS zones in two places, at turns 8 and at turn 11. Plenty of close racing then, plenty of speed and plenty of drama to be found in the laps to come. Alongside me for one final time this season, it's Anthony Davidson. What a year it's been, Ant. It's been an absolute pleasure. And now, how are you feeling ahead of Lights Out tonight?
Well, it's been a breathtaking year of F1 action, and there's one more sting in the tail to come here tonight, I reckon. We've been all around the world, but there's still everything to fight for, and what an occasion it is as well. There's a real sense of anticipation every time we come here to Abu Dhabi, and here's hoping it's a fitting end to a very special season.
Let's finish the season on a high.
So before the off, let's remind ourselves of yesterday's qualifying session with a look at the starting grid. Max Verstappen put
Yeah, so just running through the grid, you might have noticed, I don't know if I covered it in the points for the constructors, but Ferrari and Red Bull still quite close to each other, and with Red Bull's recent run of form, you never know what you could see there. But just doing a little grid recap there on the screen, you can look at that if you want to, because we're starting right at the goddamn back. There we are, with no time set. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Strategy was a fairly simple one because you get ultras, supers and soft tyres here in Abu Dhabi. Completely skipped the ultra because it's a qualifying and I'm starting at the back. I'll get no benefit from it, so I just stuck with the default, to be honest. Super soft, soft tyres at the end of the race because the soft tyre is the mandatory tyre, so I'm going to need to run that at some point. So, see, the funny thing was I did rev the car up on the grid, being so used to the front, and I actually crept forward and then was like, well, I've got to wait a little bit here, haven't I? So, accidentally stuck it in reverse as well. So that was yeah, it was alien being at the back for. I mean, the only time I've really been at the back really was sort of like early season. So yeah, 22nd or last to question mark challenge. It's going to be an interesting one here in Abu Dhabi. Not my best track by any stretch of the imagination, but let's see how everything goes here as we build to 2, 3, 4, 5 lights, and the final race of the season is underway. Max Verstappen pulls away from pole. You see the Mercedes dart out towards turn 1. We're on the very right hand side as we go into turn 1, making up a few places on the lower marked teams. We're going to pass the Manners and slot between the Toro Rossos, who are both off on the soft compound tyre. The McLarens going side by side through the first couple of corners. We're going to look to sweep through here as we come up to the first chicane. We're going to look to go down the inside, gain another couple of places. The McLarens still side by side. We're going to look to take the opportunity on the inside of the first bit. Alonso's gone into Button. Button's forced Alonso into us, and he's forced Alonso round. And the McLarens have come together in the final race of the season. And the Red Bulls, sorry, not the Red Bulls, the Force Indias, one in front of the other. And there's a safety car now. A safety car, you can only assume that's for Alonso's spin, because I think he blocked the track a little bit there. So he was probably just recovering his car. Here we go. We're going to see it from on board Fernando Alonso now. We're down the inside of Button. He probably assumed he was going to have the room. Then our car sort of pops out of nowhere here. He tries to turn in. Button's on his inside. He gets tagged into us. Then goes back into Button. And yeah, he just goes in front of the Toro Rosso guys there. So yeah, difficult one. Here we go. We on board from Button. So we see him. We see us. Yeah, we take the late move on his left inside mirror. So Button's really got the least amount of. Oh, Button got a severe whack in all of that. I'm surprised he's got no damage really, because he took a hefty blow, and the safety car was out until the end of lap 4. This is where we look to go racing again. And interestingly enough, a couple of the guys from the front of the grid who are on the Ultra Softs peel into the pits. You would have assumed they would have done that before now. A few guys did that right at the start. I believe the Force Indias were 2 of them. So they must be running some kind of 3-stop here. But we have put ourselves in a very good position at the start of this race. The Super Softs were only going to go to sort of lap 7, but with the safety car we can drag them out a little bit. The thing that I noticed about the tyres here is we take a little look at Massa down the inside, try and get the best opportunity before the straight, and I think we've missed out on that one there. So here we go, end of lap 6 now. Verstappen sets the fastest lap. Perez is in the pits. A few of the guys ahead have pitted. We now elevate ourselves up into 3rd, and I think 2nd now as well. One of the things I did notice though is that the tyres didn't wear very quickly around here, but I got a lot of graining. And the front scrubbed across the track a lot. You can see that Vettel does a 142 flat. We just did a 145 flat. So Vettel is 3 seconds a lap faster than us in the Ferrari. So that's not positive. But we're 7 seconds behind Verstappen here. Button is breathing right down our neck. And we'll have the best of him in straight lines. He's a McLaren Honda. And there's what I mean by the understeer through the final corner. So we're going to pass Verstappen here and take the lead of the race. And the interesting note here is the two Toro Rossos now, a 2nd and 3rd. As everyone's going to be pitting off the Ultra Soft, they're going to filter into traffic. And I think the Toro Rossos here have done a pretty good strategy by going on the soft tyre early. We cut a few more laps into the future, end of lap 11. Like I said, we were able to take the super soft tyres a bit longer due to the safety car. So we're now coming into the pits. And interestingly enough, so is Carlos Sainz of the... sorry, not Carlos Sainz, Daniel Kvyat, sorry, of Toro Rosso. So he takes his soft tyres as long as our super softs here. Probably a mistake on his part, because he would have probably been able to pull out. One stop would have been awkward at that juncture, but he could have probably gone a bit further. But he goes on to super softs, much like ourselves. We're actually going to come up behind Button, because at the end of that stint we weren't going well. I don't know what it was with our first set of tyres. It only happened with our first set, but they were just not nice to drive on at the end of the stint. Like they grained, little marbles formed on the tyres, and I just couldn't get the front of the car in. Anyway, we come up behind Nico Hülkenberg here, who I think we were behind at the start anyway, and he pitted fairly early onto those super soft tyres. So here we go now, coming out of the hairpin. Hülkenberg's got a good run. He's got Mercedes power. We still got DRS though, so I don't think we're going to get him, because we are a long way back. Hülkenberg's looking to make a move on Rio Haryanto, so he does that there. We're too far back to have a look into the first chicane. That's not too much of an issue on the brakes there, as we get the nose in nicely. And I think we're going to take a second bite of the cherry here with the DRS on Rio Haryanto, because even though he has a Mercedes engine, he's probably, the manner is still fairly slow. And we're going to make a late move here, come off the brakes, reapply it, late move into the corner, and there we go. Up into 10th place behind Nico Hülkenberg here on lap 12. So we're now back into a points paying position and looking to move up the grid. I'm hoping that our strategy proves beneficial. We can love the grip on these new tyres here, because we're in the slipstream of Hülkenberg into the overtaking, well, not so popular overtaking place of turn 1, where I made a bit of contact there with the Force India. No damage done to either car by the looks of things. We're up into 8th place, as I think one of the cars did peel into the pits maybe. But yeah, slowly moving through the field now. Seb Vettel is up next in his Ferrari. And we cut a few laps into the future here. Seb Vettel's gone through the field. Hamilton's made a second pit stop onto another set of super soft tyres, to my understanding. But Seb Vettel's gone through the field. He's passed Perez and Button. We're now trying to close back on Button. Because essentially, if you remember, we were ahead of him in the first stint, but Button pitted before us, and we obviously had issues with our tyres at the end of that stint. Hamilton, though, is going to come steaming down our inside here, but he's left himself not a lot of room to turn in, so we'll take the outside line, keep the position, and we retain 7th place there, as we're still trying to close up on these midfield runners. We're only about 5 laps into this set of tyres now, as a few more cars made their way into the pits at the end of that lap. We're now behind Button, coming out of the hairpin. We're going to have rich mixture, DRS and slipstream, and well, it's a McLaren Honda, so I don't even need to tell you the end result. We're gaining, we're probably doing double the speed that Button is. Slam on the brakes, just about to get it slowed down in all fairness. Completely missed the apex of the first part of the corner, but there we go, up into 4th place, and now we're just going to continue on. Hamilton now has got past Button, and now we're starting to get the same understeer that we had in the first stint. Hamilton's actually hit the back of us there on the home straight, as it were, so not too sure what happened with that there as we go up to 2nd. Looks like Mercedes split their strategy a little bit, and Rosberg is going longer on the soft tyres now as opposed to Hamilton there. But here we go, lap 18, Lewis Hamilton, Mercedes power, coming up to the chicane. He's not actually that far ahead of us here. Can we look to hold it here around the outside? We're going to be late and brave on the brakes. Hamilton squeezes himself into the apex for whatever reason. We get the better run, cut off his traction, and there we go. We retain the position beautifully through that chicane there against Hamilton. And here we go, lap 18. Rosberg now in the pits. Thank you, engineer, for doing the commentary for me. Rosberg in the pits on his tyres. He just fitted ultra softs. It only flashed up very briefly there, so he's going to have to do like 10 laps, 9 or 10 laps on ultra softs. I don't think that's possible, so I don't know what strategy Mercedes are thinking now. Hamilton bullies his way past us, and that got us all out of whack over the curb, and, you know, back end skipping up there. So I've had enough of these tyres. They could have probably gone a lap or two longer, but I feel the soft tyres are going to be a better bet for us. So here we go into the pits for the second and final pit stop of the Grand Prix. Oh dear, Magnussen's in as well. That's what I get for making an early call through to the team. Danny Kvyat as well coming in the same lap. So it looks like that was the length of time the Super Soft went. I don't think no, it doesn't look like we cost Kevin too much time, so that's fine. Danny Kvyat, though, due to going on the soft tyres at the start, now onto a second set of Super Soft. So he's now going to sit behind us on the faster tyre, and that's going to be an interesting battle between the Toro Rosso. We come out again behind Jensen Button, so that was frustrating a little bit, the fact that Button kept getting the better of us. But, you know, with each end of stint, we got closer and closer to him. 2.3 is the gap now to Button. But we're on the slowest tyre around this track, so we're going to have to work on that, really. Lap 22 here, and we're going to get some info from our engineer. So Sebastian Vettel up ahead for Ferrari. I mentioned how it's important for the constructors. I'm going to have to stop for a second because Danny Kvyat looking to make a move around the outside of us here. Thankfully, we're just able to cut him off, but Seb Vettel up ahead of us. Big problems with his car and that he's slowing down. So that's going to be crucial for the constructors and more importantly us trying to get a good finishing position. So the end of lap 22, we're now 1.9 behind Button. I just found it hard to catch him on these tyres. We only took small chunks out each per lap. You see end of lap 23, 1.6, end of lap 24, 1.2. So we were gaining. I just couldn't see a visual representation of it and it was just annoying me. But finally at the end of lap 25 I could see we were less than a second behind him and it meant that this was going to be the lap that we had DRS on him. So here we go, hairpin. We've got not the best exit, but we have rich mix, we have slipstream, we have DRS, and finally we're going to get past Button after doing nothing but try and close him down for the last few laps. Here we go. It's going to take longer than it did before. We're going to have to do it on the brakes this time. Getting it slowed down nicely. And the next car ahead of us is Sebastian Vettel in 5th place, who we know has problems with his car. Our engineer has not come over the radio to tell us otherwise at this point. So here we go. There's 2 laps and a sector left of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And Sebastian Vettel is 3.7 seconds ahead of us there. I have honestly no idea at this point where Kimi Räikkönen is, because that's also fairly important. I assumed, being in a Ferrari, he was going to be ahead of us somewhere. Danny Kvyat is still looking to give it a go here. Into the corner after the second DRS, and we've gone very wide, but thankfully we've kept it. And we're now 1.7 behind Sebastian Vettel, who you can see visually is so much slower than the Force India ahead of him. So here we go, it's now lap 28, we're coming into the first chicane. Sebastian Vettel is now only 0.8 of a second ahead of us, and we're going to have to do it to take the 5th place off Seb Vettel. We take a nice line, we get a good exit there on the power nice and early. And it must be an MG UK or a power issue with the Ferrari, because he doesn't appear to have much straight line speed. Rich mix, DRS, we're going to close him down into the chicane. Vettel's not even going to fight it. He looks as if he knows that he's done here. So we're going to slow it down just about there. Give him no room to come back at us as well as we cut it off there. And Vettel falls behind us. We're now up into 5th place. Perez is in a wonderful 4th for Force India there. So Max Verstappen wins the Grand Prix. We've beaten Vettel to the line. So we've gone last to 5th, which I wasn't expecting. But more to the point, where's Kimi Räikkönen?
Good job, you did really well. Super driving.
Brilliant stuff from Red Bull today. What a superb victory. And I have to wonder, Anthony Davidson, just what set them apart from the competition here.
Without a doubt, the safety car changed everything today. The key to their success was keeping calm and reacting to the situation quickly. We've seen teams in the past throw away wins because they were too hesitant, but here they were decisive, and that's allowed them to take the advantage.
And as the adrenaline dies down after
Räikkönen's not on the podium.
Here come the top 3.
Perez was 4th, we were 5th, so that means we've outscored Räikkönen, and we've secured our position of 3rd place in the World Drivers' Championship in our debut season with the Renault team. These guys can celebrate. Get me up there. 3rd place in our debut season, killing some of the giants of the sport in Ferrari and Red Bull. There's the confirmation. Kimi Räikkönen, 11th place on a 3-stop strategy. I have no idea what he was thinking. Look at the train. So we got past Vettel, and look at the times. Rosberg came home 12th. So we beat Räikkönen by 10 points in the Red Bull run at the end. Let's have a look. So Vettel was down in 7th in the championship. We get driver of the day, which is fantastic for us. Button ends up outscoring Alonso this season. Button got like 2 points in that race. I think he came 9th. So it's pretty close between the McLaren Hondas there. But we get 3rd place in the driver's standings. Hamilton just shit all over everyone this season by the looks of things. But 3rd place after the finale. And Red Bull, with their last run of form and Ferrari's poor race, have jumped. Red Bull have jumped Ferrari for 2nd place in the final race of the season. I remember at the midpoint we were thinking about trying to challenge Red Bull, but they bought big upgrades here at the end. End of the season. Dear Simon, we are delighted to announce that your performance has been above our expectations. You finished 3rd in the Drivers' Championship. You and your teammate Kevin Magnussen, but mostly me, also amassed enough points to rank 4th in the Constructors. We're looking forward to for the next season. Now take some time to relax. You've earned it. Renault Sport Formula 1 team. Well, would you look at that? So it's... what a ride it's been. What a ride it's been this season. You know, we jumped into the lowest factory team, as it were, and we helped them, clawed them up this season. It was a hard one. It was a hard one. And now what has Emma got for us here?
Hey, it's good to see you. I just finished these new contract offers. Check them out. Let me know what you want to do.
So this is our first opportunity of viewing a contract offer since mid-season, so we can either look to stay as Renault at the first driver. Our options are Force India, McLaren and Haas as the second driver there. Now, I know at the start I said I wanted to make Renault great again, and I feel as if I've got the team fairly high, but the last few races have proved we've got a long way to go. Here's a look at the stats for the teams. So if you have a look at the options, Force India and McLaren are like fairly equal. And I'm going to make a surprising move. I am signing up here to go to Haas F1 team at the start of the second season. moving to the second lowest team
With me.
on the grid. They're just above Sauber, I think, there. And so that's us booked in for our move. We're going to Haas F1 next season. But what a year it's been with Renault. You know, it's been a great season. Here we go, looking at the trophies. You see the early struggles of 8th, 14th, 9th, and low points. Then we had the Monaco miracle, as I mentioned. And after that, they just came 4th in Canada. The lucky win in Azerbaijan. Austria, where we fell off the cliff. 2nd in our home Grand Prix. Then, you know, a little bit of a bad spot when we went to our ultimate difficulty. 2nd in Belgium, the deserved victory in Italy there. But then look, here we go. We also won in Japan, and this is the career season 1 complete screen. So you can see we earned nearly 10,000 resource points over the whole season. It tells you about the team performances and gives you a view of the of your results at the end of each season. So that's nice. You know, I wasn't actually expecting this. We won 3 rivalries over the course of the season and lost 4. But we were getting, you know, positions in, like, you know, fight a Mercedes driver, fight a Red Bull driver, fight a Ferrari driver, you know. So it was fairly difficult. And the move will obviously give Jolyon Palmer his opportunity to step back into Formula 1 as the British driver to replace me. But we're going to go to Haas. We're going to replace Esteban Gutierrez. And I think that we've got a big gulf. You know, they're fairly close to Manor, but we've got a big void. So we're going to have to do a lot of work on their car. But I'm looking forward to the opportunities of Haas. I kind of didn't want to be a front-running team. Well, not want to be a front-running team. I wanted the opportunity to grow another team, as it were. So that's my reasoning for that move. And I think the move to Haas will give a lot of opportunities. But thank you very much for watching this episode and this season. The support has been fantastic. It was a move back to... I had an older channel a few years back where I did a season on F1 2012. So it's been nice to be able to come back and do an F1 season of 50% races. It's taken a lot of time for these edits. They're bigger than my WWE stuff that I've done, my Pokemon stuff, the Versus stuff recently. So once again, thank you very much for watching. If you could leave a like and any feedback below, that would be superb. And subscribe for Season 2. We're going to take a short break on the Formula 1. But it'll be back soon, along with something else that's coming fairly soon, which, you know, I hope to get pretty hyped for, because I know I am. But thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys for Season 2 very soon.